Today we're going to be looking at how to make an orthographic drawing on Onshape from a model that you have created. So in your Onshape main page, if you go to Teams and then your class, you will see that you've had a document shared with you. If you double click on this to open it, you will see that it's in a slightly different view, and you haven't got all of your editing options because this document is view only. So we can see at the top left here, this document is view only, so we're not able to use them. What we're going to do first is we're going to make a copy, and I want you to rename this as your name and then gear orthographic. And then the first thing that you're going to do before you start making any changes is that I want you to then share this document with Teams. And when you click, it will come up with our team. And this is something you can choose what editing options we want to have. We don't want anyone else to be able to edit your drawing, so we're going to change it to the team can view. Okay, and they can comment, but they can't copy, they can't link it, they can't export it. Okay, and we're going to share that. And that means that I can see your work. Okay, that's now shared, so we can close this. And you can change those at any time, you can change those settings. So to create an orthographic drawing of this model, we're going to press the plus in the bottom left-hand corner, and then we're going to click on Create Drawing. We've got some different options here in terms of templates that we can use that are built into Onshape. We've got everything available in Onshape. If we click on Onshape here, then we will see everything that comes up. We don't want to use any ANSI templates. ANSI is American Standard drawings, and we're not using American Standard, so we're not going to use any of those. We're going to use ISO because this is what you need to know being an engineering student in the UK. So you're going to click on ISO, and then we're thinking about what size paper would we print this on, and we're going to go for our standard A4 printer paper. So ISO A4, and then you're going to press OK. And it will load up this template for you. So over here, it comes up with the current document, and it tells me all the different parts that are in that document. So if I had an object made of different parts, they would all show up here. That means that I can do orthographic drawings of all the different parts, or I can do it as a whole. So I'm going to click on this part because that's what I want to make an orthographic drawing of. And automatically, it's offering me which part do I want to place down first. And this is going to be my my main part. This is going to be my front view, which I know goes in the bottom left-hand corner of my third angle orthographic drawing. I want to make sure that it is the front view that is selected because that's what I want to enter, and I need to choose a suitable scale. It has automatically chosen the scale 2:1 for me, but I have say over what scale I want to use. I could use 3:1, but that looks like it's going to be a little bit tight on the page. 3:1 means 3 times the size of the actual drawing. I could use 1:1, so this is the actual size of the drawing, but we can see that that's far too small for this page. So I am going to use 2:1, and that means that this drawing is double the size of the actual dimensions of my model. And I'm going to put it in the bottom left corner here. Once I click that down, then as soon as I start dragging away from that object, it automatically brings up the views that are projected from that point. So it automatically brings up my top view. So I'm going to click, and that's going to paste my top view. And then if I click on my front view again and drag out to the side, then that is my side view. So I've now straight away got all 3 views, and they are perfectly lined up. I'm going to press escape on my keyboard, and it's going to deselect the tool that I'm currently on, so that I've just got my mouse back. We can see if I select that base view again and I drag it to move it, it automatically moves the other parts of my drawing. So they're always going to stay lined up together. So if you need to move the drawing, then you're going to be moving this bottom left one. Okay, the first thing that I want you to do today is I want you to have a look at how you are going to do dimensions. Okay, so we're going to choose our dimensions first. First of all, we need to think about what relevant dimensions do I want to include. I want to include the width overall, I want to include the height, I want to know what the diameter of this circle is, I want to know what size these different circles are, and I want to know the size of the semicircle that's going on there as well. So I've got quite a few dimensions that I need to show. In order to use the dimension tool, you're going to click on it in the top left here. It looks like our usual dimension tool, or we can press D on our keyboard as a shortcut. So if we click on that and then we click on the line that we want to measure, drag it outside of our drawing. We don't want any numbers interfering with our actual drawing. Then we'll paste it on and it's giving us that dimension. We can do that between 2 points as well. So I could click on one point to another and then it will give me that size there. So we've always got the complete dimension. If I click down on my dimension tool, I've got different options here that I can use. So for example, I've got my diameter tool here, but generally it will automatically pick up the correct dimensioning tool for you by using this dimension one. So I can see that my inner circle has got a different diameter to my outer ones. And I can see that this radius is different as well. I'm going to zoom in on my circle right now by just scrolling with my mouse because I can't really see what I'm trying to pick up. So I'm going to select that with my dimension tool, drag it away, and I can see that this semicircle that is repeated all the way around has got a radius of 1. I'm going to zoom out again, and that will allow me to see my whole page. If you end up in a funny zoomed in position somewhere on your page, and you can't get it back central, what you can do is right click anywhere on the screen, make sure that you've pressed escape first so you have your normal arrow, right click and then just press zoom to fit and it will zoom into your screen again. So I'm going to add my dimensions tool, I'm going to add my whole height, I'm going to add my width, and I'm going to make sure that these are all correct and shown accurately. I can move the number around as well so it doesn't interfere with anything else. If at any point I want to move any of these dimension lines because they're getting in the way, again, I just press escape on my my keyboard so that I get my normal arrow back. I can click on something and then I can move it. Very, very easy to do. Okay, the next thing that we're going to have a look at is we're going to have a look at adding a scaled isometric view in the corner. So when we have an orthographic drawing, we usually have an isometric drawing with it. That helps us see what it looks like in 3D and it helps our brain to understand what these different views are saying. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on Insert View in the top left corner and we're going to use the drop down of View Orientation, change it to Isometric. I can hover over my my page. I'm not clicking, I'm just hovering with my mouse and that tells me the size that it's going to be. Sometimes it's a little bit slow to load up. Looking at this on my page, it looks a little bit too dominant for me. It feels like it's going to be in the way. So I'm not going to use such a big drawing there. So I'm going to use my scale and I'm going to change it down to a more suitable scale. So maybe 1:2 or 1:1. Okay, and that is a view that I'm happier with. We can see that it also automatically adds in the scale of that view there so that we know that it's different to the sheet scale. Next thing that we need to look at is how to include any information for your document. So to do that, we've got our title block in the bottom corner here. We can see that our scale has been automatically added in for us. I'm going to zoom in on this box so that we can see it really clearly. We've automatically had our scale added for us. We've automatically had the page size. There's only one sheet, so that's automatically been added in for us. We're not using first angle, we're using third angle orthographic projection. So we're going to change that right in there. and we're going to swap these guys over, and that represents third angle orthographic. For your drawing, you can add the material, you can add the finish, you can make sure that it's presented how you want it to be. The account that I'm currently demonstrating with is called Design Technology, which is shown up as that name, but it would usually say your name there, and you can change all of the font and everything for it as well. Usually we would have different people checking and approving these documents, and they would sign and date it. And this is where you can add your title. So I'd like you to add a title to this drawing of gear orthographic. Okay, so that is your basic set of skills that you need to learn for creating orthographic drawing. Some other things that we may need to include, any notes on our page. So you can add a note box there. We may need to include a detailed view, and this is up in the corner there. It gives it a name straight away, and I can click on a part. So say I want to give the detailed view of these teeth. I can click, and then it creates a circle around there. When I drag away, I've got the options of changing the scale here, or just placing it with its provided scale, and I've now got a automatically labeled detailed view of those teeth to see them in more detail. I can add a section view here. I can add a section view there. It's automatically naming it for me again because it's my second drawing on the page, then it's doing that. So I've clicked the start and the end point that I want to section of. You can see as I drag to the left and right, it changes the arrows of direction for me, depending on which section I want to look at. And then I'm going to click it down where I want it to be. And that gives me the section view, which again is automatically labeled for me. The last thing that we need to look at is adding center lines. So we've got center marks, which we need to add to all of our circles. So we just click on the edge of it with the center mark tool, and it tells us where the center of all those circles are. And then we've got center line as well, which helps us to find where the center of these circles are. So we can use all of these different tools. So we've shared it, and that means that we've got exactly what we need. We could use insert image on these drawings as well. We could use that for a company logo that we've made. If we've got some branding for a project, then we can upload some images there, and that helps us to add branding to our products. So I could do that onto my drawings. And then when I'm ready, I can share this document through Onshape. I can rename it, I can print it, I can insert any other technical drawings that I need to do from here. Let's try printing that again. When I click print, I will have a, let's present that to you. When I click on print, I get a different window pop up. The window looks like this, and when I click on the print icon, no matter where you are, you'll have different printers there. If we do save to Google Drive, it will save automatically to our Google Drive, and we can do save as PDF as well, which means it's a portable document format. It will lock it in as an A4 drawing, which we can then attach to our Google Drive. We can attach to our Google Classroom. We can save it so that we have this drawing saved automatically. Okay. So I want you to create this drawing in the layout that you think is most suitable, including all of the relevant dimensions that need to be included. Right, give that a go.